favor. Just touch all your seatbelts, touch all your connections, touch your Hans. Just make sure you get everything like you want it. favor. Just touch all your seatbelts, touch all your connections, touch your Hans. Just make sure you get everything like you want it.
Well, good evening, Sigma race fans. We're coming at you here live tonight from the Cleveland airport. We just had a race here a couple days ago, about a week ago now, with Bridge to Cup here at Cleveland. And now we are rolling in with the USATrucks Eastern Division here tonight with the Cleveland airport. Should be a good one. Starting with tonight's lineup. Through the field we go here. Philip Purpura and Dale Bush get the front row locked down. Next row back, you're going to have the number 18 of Carlos Eduardo and the 23 of Brandon Butler the second. Followed by Snake Plissken and your points leader, John Hagan. James Gunner and Cody Smart in the Blue Chew Ford. Guido Piano alongside the 39 of Wyatt Wilkinson. Cannon Gage and Zane Phoenix, followed by John Underkoffler and David Byrd. Wesley Shaw and Ralph Oberstadt. Eli the Wolf and Philip Manning. Kyle Ottawa and the 59 there of Gannon Byrd. Jacqueline Hyde with Tim Morse. Jack Ross and Craig Bush, followed by Sebastian Galway Jr. and Andre Stefan. Milano Grimm and Jeffrey Gerald. Pedro Sales and the 49 of Paul Valenzuela. Sarah Taylor and Alex Sanvital. Mitchell Carter and Andrew Moger, followed by Ryan Little and Alan Malcolm, with Jamie Horseman, Boogie, Drew Clue, and Daniel Pauls Jr. rounding out the field here tonight for 40 laps, the distance, 95 miles, here at the airport circuit.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
Should be an interesting race. We've had a photo finish-esque run here before. These trucks have definitely put on a good show at this track. Bridge to Cup did so just a couple nights ago, so expect more of the same here with tonight's trucks as they take to the very interesting flat street circuit on the airport runway. Green flags getting ready to wave, and we're going to see them all fan out down the front stretch here, going nearly 4, 5, or even 6 wide. They can make it happen here. It gets pretty crazy. Looks like it's going to be about not quite 3 wide for the lead, maybe 4 wide for the lead, actually. 23, Brandon Butler on the inside, has the quickest way around the track. He's going to keep the inside, but now it's going to turn into the outside eventually, as they will hang a left here at one point. Another right-hander, though, and that's going to put Philip Purpura into the race lead. Dale Bush up to second, Carlos Eduardo in third. John Hagan up into the top 5 with that Mountain Dew Baja Blast Chevrolet. And the 81 of Snake Plissken in the picture as well. As they, here's your defending race winner from last year here, David Byrd, who made the pass on the last lap here at Cleveland. Take home victory. He's actually fresh off of a win in the last race with the trucks here. Last East Coast race when we went to Michigan. So riding the momentum train here tonight, we'll see what David Byrd has got in the tank for the fight for the win. But first lap in the books here, it looks like it's going to go to Philip Purpura in the 25. And already out of the gates, Philip Purpura with the fastest lap in the race. And in a solid second, of course, it's going to be Dale Busch. Carlos Eduardo running the number 18 here tonight. He's got a tribute sticker on the side of the truck there, paying honors and tribute to the late, great Kyle Busch. Driving the 18, which Kyle Busch also made famous. It's kind of neat to see Carlos Eduardo up here in the top 3. And how fitting. He's got the FedEx Express with the airplane on the side here at the airport tonight. Couldn't have picked a better paint scheme, that Honda, for Tyler Aspinall Racing. Putting on a good start to this evening's 40-lap event. Brandon Butler the second, a race winner in Cup earlier this year already, and fighting for that overall points championship. He's been a kind of a surprise candidate for race wins this year, and Trucks has not been as kind, as favorable to him, but here he is with a good top 5 run early in this one tonight. Wyatt Wilkinson in the Cole Train Machine run around the airport here. That Dodge Ram, Dodge Ram for Railfan Motorsports, looking to try and put together a good run here tonight. Then, of course, John Hagan, your points leader, has been keeping it pretty hard for anyone else to gain points on him. Snake Plissken, always a threat, always dangerous. Fight for race wins. Doesn't matter if he's in a truck, in ARCA, Bridge to Cup, and soon to be a Cup driver as well. Trucks, really his weak point, though. He has not been able to convert to very many actually no truck wins to his name yet. But eventually I'm sure that will come around as well for Mr. Pliskin in the 81. The Outlaw Gang teammate to him is, of course, Philip Purpura, who is leading this race. So the Outlaw Gang has a good run going here. Oh, shoot, I didn't realize sticky keys was still a thing on computer. David Byrd up into the top 10, your defending race winner here at this racetrack. Zane Phoenix for Tyler Aspinall Racing, also teammate to the 18 just further ahead. Now, how about one of the newcomers here, Cody Smart? This is only, I want to say, his second start here in the USA Trucks East Division. Having a 11th place run at the moment. So lengthy run here today, 40 laps will test these drivers. Fuel window looking a little bit something like this, 42 laps. So we should probably see at least one pit stop, because it's going to be cutting it pretty close to go all the way today without a stop. But that, that opportunity still presents itself, that there may be some drivers that actually opt out of making any pit stops here today and may try to stretch it. So that option is on the table. But for the drivers like Philip Purpura, who's up front leading the laps, running the quickest laps out on track, he's burning more fuel and not conserving anything. So we'll have to see if some of these drivers are at risk of running out before the end of the 40-lap affair here today. LFG Motorsports with the 17 there of Dale Busch. pretty new driver here to the series. You're looking at the point standings so far. Get you a guide here. Let me run down to our point standings for the USA Trucks East Division. As mentioned, of course, John Hagan, your points leader. But after 8 events, Dale Bush, who has missed 2 races, is already climbed up to 19th in the points. And of course, the win and you're in scenario. So if you do get a race win, you're going to be locked in to the West-East Chase later in the year here. This tonight is race number 9 of 13 with the regular season of the USA Trucks East Division. But the fact that he's missed 2 races and he's all the way up into 19th already is impressive. His worst finish this season since joining with LFG Motorsports has been a 34th at Watkins Glen, but he's had a best of a 2nd at Michigan just last race out, and a 6th at Chicagoland, his 2nd start here in the series. So keep an eye on Dale Bush. If he starts knocking out points, he could get up into the top 10 in points even and be a threat to lock himself in on points alone. It looks like we've got one driver outside of the top 10, and that would be the 46 of Craig Popris. Wow, Alan Malcolm running dead last right now. That's kind of a shocker. May have made a pit stop here. I'm not sure. Would have had to have made a pit stop. Nope. Oh, he did. He pitted way back on the first lap. So he is on a super strategy here, getting his pit stop out of the way ASAP so that he can run the rest of this race without any worries, and the game is crashing. Had this problem at this track the other night where I got to lap 4 and it would crash each time. Don't know why. It might be one of the tracks on the way out if we're going to keep having this problem. Just frustrating. I mean, after we reset the track 2 times, it ran just fine the other night, so... Problem is I'm going to have to reset the ticker all over again. It's just a cluster show. It's just getting good too. But here we go with the restart. It looks like Philip Purpura is going to pretty much maintain his top spot here. Brandon Butler, the second, however, works his way up into second. Well, as of right now, I feel like, to me, the big shocker in Sigma Racing for 2026 has been mostly the unpredictability. When you got the Sigma Cup Series, which has seen so many different winners this season. No standouts. Some big names that have not yet gone to victory lane. I feel like that's a big surprise. I'm kind of accustomed, more akin to the Cup Series right now. It's gotten the best, kind of the best moments of the year so far. But Bridge to Cup comes in a close second because of the strategies and all the stuff that unfold during the Bridge to Cup season and all the races that we've had this year. A lot of strategy games, and it's very fun to watch a strategy race unfold, I feel like. And for the trucks, I mean, the trucks have been pretty good this year, but it's been a little bit more predictable. So The trucks hasn't been near as heavy on the parity side of things. It's been you kind of got a couple drivers that are really out there to win the races each week, it feels like. And so ARCA's just like you hit the shuffle button every week. I don't know what to say about the ARCA series, but it is truly our ARCA series. It's amazing how we have 4 very unique series and all of them run very differently from each other. The fact of the matter being, that the trucks here we got kind of the same situation that the NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts series has, where you've got kind of your cast of characters that are often up there winning races every week. We got our equivalent of a Justin Allgaier. We got some Jesse Loves out there and maybe a few Sheldon Creeds, but for the most part it's always typically the Justin Allgaier type that ends up winning these truck races. Bridge to Cup, on the other hand, it really does feel a little bit more like a momentum train. Like right now, obviously, number 2 of Cannon Gage is on a hot streak. But it hasn't been that way all year. It all of a sudden showed up to where Cannon Gage just got it figured out, and now he is in the mix fighting for the title, putting his name in the conversation for a championship. But yeah, for Bridge to Cup, the way it's been this season, it's been exciting, and it's been enticing to keep people coming back and watching it each week, just because of the sheer unpredictability. You do kind of have your favorites that are more prone to winning, which would be kind of equivalent to like the real life NASCAR Cup Series in a way. And yeah, so it's getting good. I'm excited for the title hunt once we're getting down to the end of the year here. It's going to be interesting to see who actually takes the 2026 Bridge to Cup title for the season, as it's been a hard-fought, hard-earned battle no matter what. So reset here tonight. Philip Purpura, your race leader, over now Brandon Butler the second, Wyatt Wilkinson in third, John Hagan in fourth, and the number 60 of Cody Smart, top 5. You got the 32, the 17, the 27, and the 18 still top 10 here for Carlos Eduardo with the airplane on the side there. Defending race winner, number 96, David Byrd, trying to make some moves. He's riding the high from winning at Michigan last race out 2 weeks ago. He's thinking about going 3 wide for the top 10 there. Flirting with it. Staying behind them, though. The 2 teammates for Tyler Aspinall Racing settle it out there. Zane Phoenix falls back to 9th as Carlos Eduardo moves up to 8th. Top 4 for John Hagan, your points leader. Brandon Butler the second with the fastest lap. He's in second there. Philip Purpura not quite fastest lap in the race. They were both in the fours, 123.449 for Philip Purpura and a 411 for Brandon Butler the second. Tail into the field, you've got Pedro Sales running in 40th, 39th, Drew Clue, Daniel Pauls Jr. Then it's Jack Ross, Alan Malcolm, Paul Valenzuela, Alex Sanvital, Jacqueline Hyde. So pit stops already out of the gate. 19, 27, 16. Boogie in the top 30 there, running in 29th. Kyle Ottawa just ahead. Sebastian Galloway Jr. up to 27th here. Jeffrey Gerald in 26th. Tim Morse looking to make a move here on Craig Bush. Milano Grimm, Andre Stefan, and here we have your top 20. Andrew Moger with John Underkoffler right ahead. Eli the Wolf next in line. Wesley Shaw, Ralph Oberstadt. Ralph's top 15 in the points, so with a little bit of luck, he can still make the West-East chase in the USA Trucks here. We'll see what's left in the tank for him. Philip Manning, Snake Plissken, top 15, Cannon Gage, Gannon Bird, and Guido Piano. And you have David Byrd, top 10, Zane Phoenix, Carlos Eduardo, Dale Bush, James Gunner, Cody Smart, John Hagan, Wyatt Wilkinson, Brandon Butler the second, and your race leader, Philip Purpura. But that gap starting to shrink just a little bit. So one driver absent, no longer part of the series. Number 46 of Craig Popgris, who had a win recently this year, but no longer is eligible to win and secure his way into the chase. No longer in the field. So that'll make it a little bit interesting for these drivers, as top 10 is points based. You know, you get back into the top 10 again and still earn your way in without a win. As it sits right now, Alex Sanvital, the only driver outside the top 10 with one win, sitting in 12th. So otherwise, that means if you're in the top 9 in points without a win, you're going to be locked in from the East Coast. As we take 10 from the, 10 from the East, the top 10 in wins and points, and the top 10 in wins and points on the West, both sides, and we combine them together for the Grand Championship at the end of the year to figure out who the overall champion is in the USA Trucks. Well, that gap has been shrinking little by little as Brandon Butler II trying to close in on the race leader here, Philip Purpura. But Purpura still has a pretty comfy lead at the moment over that 23 truck. Wyatt Wilkinson solidly in third here. His points situation doesn't look too bad. 39. Actually, maybe not as good as I thought it was. Wow, Wyatt Wilkinson all the way back to 27th in the points. His average finish this season has been 25th. Has struggled within the last 7 races to even get a top 10. Right out of the gate at Daytona with a 7th place. Oh, and he's blowing up. Wyatt Wilkinson from 3rd place blows up. Suffers a mechanical failure as I was just trying to talk some positive thoughts out there into the world. That 39 is going to be trying to get his way around the track here. We're going to throw a full course caution as he's not able to get around the track. Blown engine. Let's try this and see. I didn't have better cautions enabled just in case. Now let's try it and see if the game will cooperate with us here tonight. So, caution in the race here. Because of a blown engine by Wyatt Wilkinson. We had the camera rolling on him. Tough break for him. Top 5, top 3. He was fighting for a good finish here tonight, but all for naught. Leave it up to me to jinx a driver on the field while I'm talking about him. So Wyatt Wilkinson is going to continue the trend of bad finishes. Last race out at Michigan, he ended up with a 27. He hasn't finished 40th this year yet, so he's going to add that one to the tally. Here at lap number 9, he will get credited with 40th place more than likely. So, under caution here. Drivers are going to get things figured out, try to decide. This will put them pretty much perfectly to go ahead, make their pit stop, get some gas, get some tires, and push all the way to the finish here tonight without any worries. So, playing a game of cat and mouse with the pace truck here. I don't know what that's all about, but Philip Purpura kind of playing around, getting bumped into there by the 23. Luckily, the pace truck is a ghost truck, so they can't actually make direct contact with it. But we're getting ready to see pit stops as they come around the track here. More than likely, everyone is going to decide to pit here, I would wager. No reason to stay out on track, get that gas, get the fresh tires, and fight for the race win here today. And there you have it. Field making their pit stop here as the pace truck keeps rolling. I have so much room on pit road here to add so many extra stalls if we had to at Cleveland, the airport here. Plenty of room. This whole track, it's very unique, very interesting. And your takers down pit road. Looks like the 39 officially retired now. Wyatt Wilkinson will be out here tonight with a... it just says accident, which is interesting because it said a blown engine in the data log there. 23 loses a lot of spots here. Tough break for Brandon Butler II, as Philip Purpura will rejoin the racetrack here with the lead. And now new second place driver, John Hagan, followed by James Gunner and Dale Bush. Carlos Eduardo, Gannon Byrd, and David Byrd, no relation between the two. Then Cannon Gage with the top 10 at the moment, Ralph Oberstadt. Brandon Butler fell from second all the way out to 13th there. Cody Smart also drops about 10 spots. Snake Plissken in the top 15. The lights are out on the pace truck, so everyone's going to get doubled up here as they're getting around lap traffic of the 45. I'm going to wave the 45 around so that we don't have any shenanigans here. Should be a clean restart with Philip Purpura on the high side, John Hagan on the inside. We're going to switch our camera over to the good camera here, as you're going to see them all fan out going down the front stretch. The long front stretch here at the airport. It's going to be another wild restart here tonight in Cleveland. Purpura's led the race so far, but is he going to be able to defend on the restart? Green flag drops. We're back and rolling. They go all over the place. 4 and 5 wide. So normal here at Cleveland. John Hagan looking to take the lead away from the 25. Also low side there, you're going to have Dale Bush. Dale Bush with a drag race run down the backstretch, but John Hagan, clear track ahead, clear track behind for the most part, takes over the race lead. Well, the good thing now is that everyone should be good to go to the finish without any more pit stops. Getting their pit stop out of the way, and they can just charge full speed ahead for the race win here tonight. Well, no big surprise here, seeing your points leader, John Hagan, out front here in the Truck Series, leading once again. His current points lead is 44-point lead over second place, Philip Purpura. It's crazy how they ended up running 1-2 here tonight in the race as well. John Hagan has 2 wins through the first 8 races already. would be seeking race win number 3 here today, and that would put him at a 33% win, basically a win average, 33% in the season here. 3 wins in 9 races if he gets the job done here today, of course. Very, very rare air to put yourself in, especially in the truck series where we don't often see a lot of breakout dominant seasons by very many drivers. We've seen it with the Trevor and Trevor. We saw Trevor Vaden and Trevor Walker both kind of split it back and forth. This season, John Hagan at the moment in this Eastern Division, the only driver with multiple wins, as everyone else has taken 1 win apiece of the drivers that have won a race here in 2026. Of course, this truck division has kind of shrunk in schedule size, so 13 races this year is a lot lighter than the 15 races last year in the regular season. And if you go even further back, we didn't used to have the chase. We didn't have the East and the West. It was just a 22 race season, and we often saw some more interesting, details unfold through a 22 race season that we no longer see unfold in a shorter schedule span like this one. Going forward, though, we are looking like we'll have 13 truck races. Trucks will be unified back into a singular group rather than East and the West. And it'll split between Bridge to Cup, so we'll be hosting truck races on the weeks that we're not hosting Bridge to Cup. And it'll be down to 2 nights of racing. I'll only host 2 nights. Probably going to be like Mondays and Thursdays, or Tuesdays and Thursdays. That's still to be determined. But for 2027, that's kind of the idea. We'll have 3 series, but only 2 races each week, rather than like we're doing right now, about 4 races each week, which is just a bit difficult for me to keep up with. So and obviously losing the ARCA series, kind of a bummer, but we're going to make up for it by opening the field sizes in Bridge to Cup. We're going to have at least 45, 46 cars racing each week in the Bridge to Cup series. Should be a good battle for the championship. Hopefully there's enough races to really let it shake out and get the right champion crowned at the end of the year. Trucks being a 13 race, where basically the regular season equivalent is going to be the full season next year. Our chase, as it sits for 2026 with the USATrucks, will be a 10 race chase. And if you combine those together, you got the 26 races regular season plus the 10, so it's a 36 race season for the trucks. And none of the drivers run all 36 races, obviously. But John Hagan leading this race here. 24 laps left to go. Second is Philip Purpura. Third is Dale Bush. That's your top 3. Alrighty. Well, this time by it'll be 21 laps to go here from Cleveland. John Hagan with the race lead, followed by Philip Purpura and Dale Bush in the top 3. Gannon Byrd with a good top 5 run. David Byrd, your defending winner at this track. Can he go back-to-back? Can he go 2 for 2 at the track visits here in Cleveland? Nearly identical style truck here that he won it in last year. At least the 96 font in Chevrolet for Jesse Saturn Racing. A lot of laps left to turn here. 21, of course, but he's got his work cut out for him. Alrighty, that marks halfway here today. 20 laps in, 20 laps to go. John Hagan still has a pretty good lead over Philip Purpura. Laps led here. So far it's been 11 laps led by Philip Purpura and now 8 laps led by John Hagan. Those are your only 2 drivers with laps led here today. And of course, they are running 1 and 2. One caution for Wyatt Wilkinson having a blown engine on the racetrack, spinning out and stalling on the racetrack to cause first caution of the evening. Pit stop shook up the running order a little bit. Philip Purpura had the lead coming in and he left with the lead coming out. But John Hagan did a stellar job on the restart and inherited the lead with ease over the 25 team. Our Bridge to Cup race, the big game changer was lap traffic. That was ultimately what turned the tides of the race and gave Cannon Gage the race win here at Cleveland in Bridge to Cup. How crazy is it that Cannon Gage is also in the mix here tonight? If you look a little bit further back, he is in the top 10, running in 7th with that number 5 Chevrolet here for Cannon Gage Racing. Up into 8th, it is Ralph Oberstadt. 9th place, Carlos Eduardo, and a top 10 for Guido Piano, your 2022 USATrucks champion. Lead starting to shrink here as Philip Purpura giving John Hagan all he wants in his rear view mirror. Both drivers have a win on the season. John Hagan, of course, has 2. Purpura looking for race win number 2 and to try and build up some points against the points leader, John Hagan. Of course, leave it to the field for us to be running 1-2 on the field with the drivers that are 1-2 in the points. It just seems to be a pretty common trend when it comes to this truck series. Brandon Butler, the second, with the fastest lap here tonight. After the pit stops, he got cycled way back and is struggling to get back into the top 10. He is running in 12th at the moment. right behind Cody Smart. Snake Plissken, his Outlaw Gang teammate there, Philip Manning, 13th and 14th. Wesley Shaw, a race winner this season. John Underkoffler, a race winner over in the ARCA series, having a top 20, top 21 run right now. Sebastian Galloway Jr. up to 22nd. Rondre Stefan in 23rd. Jamie Horseman and Jeffrey Gerald. Followed by Paul Valenzuela, Milano Grimm, Kyle Ottawa. Sarah Taylor has fallen the lap down again here. Drew Clue and Boogie, top 30. Alan Malcolm, Pedro Sales, Daniel Pauls Jr., Alex Sanvital, who is in the top 10 in points, having a very rough go of it here. Him and his teammate both, Alan Malcolm, just not showing the speed at the road course. Ryan Little, Jacqueline Hyde, and Tim Morse. That's the tail end of the field here with Jack Ross in 38th. Okay, we are down to 10 laps left to go, and it's been the John Hagan show after our pit stops and the caution here today that reset the whole field. Still following right behind him, you got Philip Purpura, Dale Bush, David Byrd, and David Byrd. Ahead of John Hagan, you got Jack Ross, the next truck at risk of falling a lap down, but he is quite a ways ahead there in the Hooters 00 truck. So not likely are we going to see too much traffic factor in to this one, as it's going to be down to single digits. You'll count them on two hands. We got 9 laps left to go here. Although you might still see that lap traffic factor in by the end of these 9 laps, but not going to be for quite some time, as Jack Ross is currently 1 minute and 7 seconds back of the race lead, and they're turning 1 minute 24 second laps. He's about 3 seconds slower a lap at the moment. So a little bit of math deduction here. So in about 5 laps, we'll see the two of them meet up here, and it could factor in before the end of the race. John Hagan will have to navigate through the traffic and try to maintain the race lead. Philip Purpura simply licking his chops, knowing lap traffic could put a wrench in the plans of your race leader, John Hagan. It's going to take a truck flip in here for a caution to be thrown, and that would be the only other game changer, is if we had a late race caution here tonight, forcing a late race restart. Green-white checkers are enabled in case we needed them, but typically we don't see a green-white checkers on road courses often at all. So top 5, though, they're all right there in the same picture. I mean, they're right down the front stretch, back stretch together, separated by about maybe a second and a half. Your top 5 there, 1, maybe 2 seconds. Yeah, a little bit more than that, about 4.5 seconds actually. But John Hagan's lead over Philip Purpura only 3/4 of a second at the moment. Well, you're getting much closer to the lap traffic ahead of them here. Like I was saying, this could be the pivotal moment in the race, getting down to the closing laps here tonight, dealing with the lap traffic and making it count when it matters the most. laps to go. Here's some lap traffic ahead of your race leader, John Hagan. That is the 45 of Sarah Taylor. Jack Ross still a little bit further ahead. John Hagan's lap times have dropped off a little bit as well, so he's not caught Jack Ross at the same rate that we were thinking he would. However, he has caught up to the 45 here of Sarah Taylor, and that is going to slow up his pace just a little bit, allowing that 25 to close back in on him. And there you go, right for the race lead. They're side by side. Philip Purpura right there alongside John Hagan. Dale Bush also in the picture here. Philip Purpura going around the high side, taking the long line around the track. That cost him a little bit of time there. And you got some more shenanigans ahead. The 26 is up into the wall. John Hagan gets around. Philip Purpura, Dale Bush, Gannon Byrd, they're all driving around Hyde. It looks like drivers may be running out of gas here. Surprisingly, they didn't get enough fuel in the tank on their original pit stop. Well, that was a stab at the lead, but John Hagan maintains it, and he's still trying to get around the lap traffic here of Sarah Taylor. They get around Sarah Taylor, John Hagan with clear track ahead. 3 laps left to go. Two laps left to go. Here he is, caught up to the back of Jack Ross now. This, if he gets around, will be the end of the race more than likely. But if the 00 holds up the 88, might open the door for the 25 of Philip Purpura to be knocking. Hagan goes high, Purpura goes way low there. Gains a big gap, closing in on the 88. Hagan struggling, getting through the traffic now. The 25 making the move on the high side. Right around as they drag race down the back side of the track here. The 25 is going to close the gap again and lose it. All at the same time, John Hagan gets loose there, giving the lead on over to the 25 of Philip Purpura here. Lap 38 of 40. Also lurking in the background there, the Storm Chaser of David Byrd, your defending winner of this very race. Could he still find his way up into the picture here and fight for the race win? Just a couple laps left to go. Your race leader gets back to Philip Purpura here after he lost the lead for such a lengthy period of time. John Hagan secures led most laps, and look at Dale Bush making a stab at it. Philip Purpura with a bad run out of the first turn there. They drag race each other down into the next aggressive set of turns. Dale Bush looking low, and they're going to go side by side for the race lead. Dale Bush, wow, what a run. He keeps it close. He goes right up to the back bumper of the 25, and he's going to get around, railing around the outside of the 25. Hagan's in the mix again. 3 wide for the race lead. Dale Bush has the advantage here on the low side. 25 stays way high. Oh, and they're going to wreck behind them. Hagan and Dale Bush getting a little too wild for the race win here. Take each other out for second place. And that may have just opened up the door to let Purpura walk away with this. Hagan loses it. Dale Bush loses it. And now you got your new second place rider, the 59 of David Byrd, just surviving the chaos around him. Philip Purpura leads with just a couple laps with the white flag waving this time. One more lap to go for Philip Purpura. Yeah, you can, if you want, you can do double duty. You can actually do ARCA and trucks both. So, totally. Yeah, if you, I'm kind of trying to play catch up on everything myself, so I can't guarantee when I'll get around to painting schemes. But if you have the ability to paint your own scheme, you'll be in the very next race that you desire. So, if I have a scheme for you, I'll put you in the field, kind of thing. But here we go. Last set of turns. Philip Purpura of the Outlaw Gang, all he's got to do is hold on to the race lead for one more set of turns. David Byrd closing that gap rapidly at the end of the race here. Is he going to have a shot? Doesn't look like he's going to have it. 25 Philip Purpura is going to join John Hagan and being a multi-race winner this season. He's going to hold off the 59 as they come charging down the front stretch here. Doing the snake, kind of the draft, to break the draft behind them. Purpura, race winner here tonight for the Outlaw Gang. Bringing it home, P1 for the 25 Ford there. Second place, David Byrd. Third place, the defending winner of this very track race. Last year, David Byrd brings it home third here today. Fourth place, it's going to be James Gunner, who's still very much in the mix for the title. Cannon Gage, a top 5 run after a race win here in Bridge to Cup just recently. Cannon Gage brings the 5 home in 5th. Then you got Ralph Oberstadt bringing it home in 6th. Guido Piano 7th. John Hagan was able to recover for a top 10 still with an 8th. Carlos Eduardo 9th. Cody Smart top 10. Brandon Butler the 2nd. Snake Plissken. Philip Manning. Zane Phoenix and Craig Bush. Man, it has to be heartbreak for the 17. I still don't see him. Andrew Moger, Wesley Shaw, John Underkoffler with the top 20. Eli the Wolf, Mitchell Carter, Sebastian Galloway Jr. 21st, Andre Stefan, Jeffrey Gerald, Paul Valenzuela, Milano Grimm, Kyle Ottawa, Jacqueline Hyde was laps down, Jamie Horseman, Drew Clue, Alex Sanvital, Alan Malcolm, Tim Morse, Boogie, Pedro Sales, Jack Ross, and apparently the 17 retired. Retired out. The 17, 35th overall after fighting for the win right at the end there. Well, a little bit of drama at the end of this one, definitely. John Hagan didn't lose too many points, still brought it home with the top 10. But it could have gone way differently for John Hagan, who led pretty much the entirety of the mid-course of tonight's race and ended up losing it overall to the 25 of Philip Purpura. Another race win for the Outlaw Gang here in 2026. The 9th race of our USATrucks Eastern Division. Points, they might tighten up a little bit now as John Hagan gave up some points to Philip Purpura. It's gonna take the final 4 races for anything to really shake out, though. Philip Purpura's still got about a 40-point gap to John Hagan. Well, and this here is a wrap for tonight, folks. I've got dinner waiting for me, and I'm gonna have to get going. But congratulations to Philip Purpura on getting the race win here this evening from Cleveland Airport.
Frank, did you have any?
Good top 10 crew there, closing out the night at the very unique airport street circuit that we run on here. But thanks again, folks, for tuning in. Hopefully you enjoyed the broadcast. We do have ARCA tomorrow night, and of course my regular programming with iRacing on Wednesday. Then Thursday, Bridge to Cup. Friday, we'll be trying to get that cup race going. I still have some paint schemes I want to get cooked up before that happens. But thanks again, everyone. Hopefully have a great night. Stay safe out there. And until next time, this is Jakester signing out.